We are gathered here today at the death place of the Tea Time guys. It's very emotional.
They were really great supporters of us before their tragic death, being there for us through the Divas matches when they were sucky boring.
We lay this tie that was their only remains of their death on here, their death place.
They will be truly missed.
They will rest in peace.
Without them, we're going to have to talk about the Diva matches ourselves.
I will always remember them as very funny, very happy, most importantly, good friends.
I'm sorry to the fans, the subscribers who support them, love them. We feel the exact same, and they can be truly missed.
Fucking British Fist, what are you doing? Those guys are absolutely worthless. They were coming into your WrestleMania review to put an end to you, to destroy your reputation, and there you are giving them thanks and remembering all the good things about them. Well, believe me, there's nothing good about them, and I, your saviour of the WrestleMania review, put an end to those worthless mortals. You should be thanking me, not thanking them for what they've done for you. Now, British Fist, listen to me very, very carefully. I did something for you, and sooner or later, you're going to do something for me. The British Tea Time segment guys are no more. And my final words were, the worthless mortals can fucking rest in peace.
I'm not sure how to feel right here because we've just lost some guys who really represented the early days of the British Fist, the Tea Time segment guys. After what Terminator NJ just said, should we really be feeling sad and sorry for guys who wanted to destroy our reputation?
I mean, the real sad thing about this is we love those guys. You know, we brought them back for WrestleMania, but how are we supposed to feel now? I memean, that they were going to infiltrate the British Fist, and they were going to try and destroy our channel. So Terminator NJ, did he kind of save us? Is he kind of like an anti-hero now? Like,
that's the big question, because he's been torturing us for months, but all of a sudden he takes up guys who are going to mess us up.
Well, we've put the Tea Time guys to rest. We've said our respects. We hope you guys have said your respects, even though he was going to try and destroy us. Very confusing here. Another thing that was confusing was this week's edition of Raw. The post-WrestleMania show. I think the first thing we can say about this show was, God damn, that crowd was just awesome. Made the show wow, just to me.
Because it is what we tend to find out. Like last year, the crowd were very mixed. They knew what was coming. They didn't know what was coming. This year, they just said whatever they felt wanted to be said. So they really helped this show to feel alive. You expect it being the Raw after WrestleMania.
Just a fantastic crowd, which is what makes these post-WrestleMania Raws so special. Like last year's was brilliant. This, by far, exceeded that. One of the best crowds I've ever had to watch Raw with. The Rock wasn't there tonight. He had some injuries, apparently, in his match with John Cena. Apparently, 15 minutes in, he had abdominal injuries. So props for him for actually fighting through those injuries, although he really should have told someone that he was going to be walking away from Raw so they could have, had stuff sorted out beforehand and not had to write everything last minute. Not that that was a bad thing on the show, because the crowd was dictating most of the stuff that WWE had to write for these segments.
But for The Rock to put on a WrestleMania match that went on as long as it did and to perform the way he did, and for Cena to still be able to do all his finishes and stuff, I do give Rock props, but for him not to be at Raw when he was already written to be here, yes, as we get to the main event here, you'll see how much the WWE had to change original plans.
Put your thoughts on this show down in the comment section below. We'll be very interested to hear your thoughts on this Raw after WrestleMania. It seemed to me like this Raw was everything that WrestleMania wasn't. We opened up the show with our new WWE Champion, John Cena. The crowd mostly boos, of course. He wants to defend his title tonight, and out comes Sexual Chocolate, Mark Henry, which the crowd popped big for. Booker T comes out and says if Mark Henry can beat Cena, he will get his title shot. That sets up our main event of the evening. Apparently, Rock is still #1 contender, though.
Yes, that's the thing. I'm glad that Booker T pointed that out. Obviously, because of this whole thing that we said just at the beginning, it does have the WWF to come up with something, which we got at the main event. And the thing is, John Cena's got yet another shirt, which just says, "The champ is here."
Well, to be honest, I can overlook all this kind of stuff, all the smarky stuff I'd usually say in this, because, my God, what a unique way the crowd reacted to this one. You had John Cena getting profusely booed, even though he was trying to do his thing to entertain the crowd. It was just a crowd-heavy segment. It's just, you couldn't really pay too much attention as what was going on in the ring, because you were so much paying attention as to what the fuck the crowd were going to do next, which is the theme of the night.
The thing about this is that the crowd were right. Number one, as you've heard many times, Cena's jokes don't work with me. And number two, Cena is boring.
And that set up our main event of the night, which was John Cena versus Mark Henry. On to our next segment, Big E Langston versus Daniel Bryan. This was Big E Langston's Raw in-ring debut. He won this match very quickly. I mean, if you're going to debut this guy, you may as well have him squash Daniel Bryan, even if Daniel Bryan is madly over.
They are moving away, hopefully, from the tag team championships. I'm still thinking they're waiting for Langston and Kane feud somewhere down the line. But yes, you gave the right person the win here, which was done in a good amount of time.
Miz versus Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship. Oh my God. The one day after it was on the pre-show, we get it on Raw, and boy, were we in for a surprise. The crowd did not like Miz one bit. They wanted Barrett to win this, and I think, to be honest, WWE called an audible and said, we can't have Miz win this or else the crowd will riot. We got to have Wade Barrett win. So the night after he loses, on the pre-show for free, he wins it back on a free episode of Raw. You know, again, you know, weird, but also at the same time, kind of cool, because the crowd reacted really well to it.
Number one, like we said at WrestleMania, the title change should actually been done on the card, but the fact you've given it back to the original champion, what does that say about The Miz, and what does that say about Barrett? But it's keeping Barrett away from going forward, because he's still the IC champion. Who's he going to face next? So many questions, but Barrett's the champion again. Round of applause. The crowd were happy.
Hey, you can't moan at WWE not giving the fans what they want, because the plan here was obviously not to give Miz have Miz retain, but the crowd pretty much dictated who had to win this match, which is Wade frickin' Barrett. Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio. This is our main event of the evening. Throughout this match, I think the crowd only wanted one person. They were chanting, "We want Ziggler" throughout the match, which kind of signaled to us what we probably would see next. Del Rio makes Swagger tap out clean. They're probably moving on from that now, because we had none other than, well, this is one of the better moments of the night, of a very good Raw. We have Ziggler come out and cash in the Money in the Bank on an injured Del Rio to one of the biggest pops of the night.
The two things I want to say about this, a handicap match really weren't needed because Zeb was just there on ringside. The match itself, the thing I liked about this is because, yes, you could think that WWE were going to put the emphasis on Ziggler becoming champion, but the way it went is that they kept on missing things and make it look like it had gone either way. I do compliment how they did this, and well done, Ziggler, for becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion.
And the right night to do it. He got a massive pop from the crowd. That's the way you freaking do it. Even though he did just lose to Daniel Bryan in 6 minutes in that tag match, but I guess we're supposed to forget the terrible booking. I suppose to a lot of people this will be a fantastic moment simply because it's Ziggler winning. Ziggler wins eventually with a zigzag after a bit of back and forth between him and Del Rio. There's a lot of drama there, actually. He thought for a minute Del Rio was going to win with the arm breaker, then he tweaks his knee. This was good because it made Del Rio look tough as well. So it did good for both guys in this.
And this looks like it's going to give us the next feud for Del Rio and Ziggler, while Swagger probably sails off like he should.
Probably because of his DUI or whatever it was. That's probably what they're doing. The Undertaker promo. Great moment for Dolph Ziggler, by the way. I can't emphasize that enough. The Undertaker promo. Taker got a very, very well-deserved big pop from the crowd. He's talking about Paul Bearer and, you know, getting revenge for Paul Bearer. And all of a sudden, the Shield show up. And we're sitting there thinking, damn, the Shield are going to beat down the Undertaker until Daniel Bryan and Kane run out to stop the Shield. I wonder where this is going to lead.
The Shield were definitely promising that this was going to be their night to do something big. Taking out Taker would have been a big moment.
Oh, yeah.
But normally when it comes to a 3-on-3, they back away because of Daniel Bryan and Kane. If they're teasing a 3-on-3, take one more match, that's another big match. If it's going to be a tag team title feud, you tease that in the past, now you're bringing it back just to give them a match at Extreme Rules. Either way, this moment set up questions, answers, and moving forward.
Could be setting up a tag title feud. It would have been awesome though if the Shield beat down Taker, but I'm fine with this. This was good. Truth, Santino and Ryder versus 3MB. Santino gets the pin. Didn't care all that much about this match, so we won't really talk about it too much. One of the best segments of the night, in my opinion, was this match between Randy Orton and Sheamus. Okay, so you had backstage segments between where they both wanted a match with Big Show. They both got granted it by different GMs. They did a Twitter poll to see who would get the match. Randy Orton wins. The GMs come out and then say Randy Orton and Sheamus are going to be facing each other. The winner will get to face Big Show. This was the second-hour main event. You thought that was a bit of a riot. I've got a list here of all the crowd chants that were done during this match. The crowd could not give two fucks about this match. They were too busy having fun. You got an Ole chant from El Generico. They chanted boring. They chanted for Mike Chioda. They chanted RVD, JBL, Michael Cole. There was an ECW chant. There was a freaking Mexican wave. There was Randy Savage chants, HBK chants, Y2J chants. The crowd were not interested in this match at all. I wasn't interested in this match because I just wanted to see what the fuck the crowd were going to come up with next.
Even though, like we said at the beginning, the crowd definitely made this Raw memorable. But if I look at this match, there was all these stories going around. One's going to turn heel in the process. We're going to have a Orton and Big Show feud. So forget about the poll and that. The WWE really messed that idea up.
That's weird.
But I think here, I really wanted to see, pretty sure Dan too, the Orton and Big Show feud, because Sheamus Big Show done before.
Yeah.
Orton and Big Show is something different, and it looked like at WrestleMania they were already teasing that.
Yeah, and then out comes Big Show to a very, very large pop. You even have the crowd saying thank you, Big Show, because the crowd clearly did not want to see this match. He knocks out Sheamus and then he beats the fuck out of Randy Orton, probably meaning he's going to be feuding with Randy Orton. I'll say this, at least it's a fresh feud. We haven't really seen these two actually in a program really ever before, have we?
Not really, but it's keeping Orton face, but I could look past it of how this was set up. And Cena, take note, because Orton shows you how to sell things.
Do you know what? This was a really good segment. I mean, the match, I wasn't interested, but goddamn, the crowd and all the chants they were doing just made this segment so unique and feel so unique. Like, you're never ever going to see a segment like that again, where so many different chants break out and they chant for the announcers, anything but the freaking match.
And JBL loved it, but obviously JBL was just playing with the crowd. And I thought that the crowd helped this match, even if original fans wouldn't be too keen with it.
Apparently we're going to be seeing Triple H on SmackDown. Yay to WWE hyping up SmackDown.
Yes, because I did have a small rant, because they can do it to Triple H. When it came to like The Rock and John Laurinaitis, who's now disappeared again.
Well, we all know why, for he is God. Fandango versus Kofi Kingston.
3, 2, 1 over.
Kofi Kingston got no reaction. The best thing about this segment was the crowd were humming to Fandango's theme. Oh my god, that was awesome. The crowd were freaking humming to Fandango's theme, and they were actually having a blast in the crowd. It was like a darts crowd out there tonight. You have Chris Jericho come out to attack Fandango, pretty much decimates this guy, makes him tap, and Jericho won't release the hold. And even when Fandango gets up, they're still chanting the Fandango theme. It was just fantastic again.
I think setting up this rematch was a good way to go. Jericho, I'm going to say this, he needs a pay-per-view win. If this goes to Extreme Rules, we may get that, we may not. But I thought the interaction between these two, before WrestleMania and now, I think it's working, it's building up stuff. And the feud's good, but again, we'll move past WrestleMania.
CM Punk apparently is going to tell us how he feels next week about the loss to Undertaker. Hell, at least they're building to next week's Raw somewhat. And
maybe he'll be like Kane, he likes to pick roses, he likes to go skipping down the lane with Paul Heyman, you know, that's probably how he feels.
And yes, so interesting to see what happens there. Team Road Scholars and the Bellows versus Team Tons of Fun.
There it is.
The match which should have happened at WrestleMania, but instead happened on Raw. Again, the crowd even reacted to this one. I mean, where the fuck was this crowd at WrestleMania 29 for those for Triple H and Lesnar and Rock and Cena? My God. The babyfaces win. Didn't care all that much about this match, but goddamn, the crowd, it made it at least somewhat entertaining.
I don't know what the WWE are actually doing here, because the WWE know that both Sandow and Cody are guys that the fans want to see better of, more than tons of funk. But week after week after week, pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view, they just push them further and further down the mountain.
Hell, the crowd were into a bit of Team of Funk, weren't they? There we go. The main event of the evening was John Cena versus Mark Henry. If Henry wins, he gets a title shot somewhere down the line at John Cena. It wasn't really about the match. I mean, John Cena wins a very quick match via countouts. You have Mark Henry attacking John Cena after the match. Then you have Ryback coming out to take out Mark Henry. And then we get the ending. You have Ryback capitalizing on the Cena hate by taking out John Cena and holding up the belt. They are using John Cena's boos to get Ryback over. What a very unique way of using your top babyface to try and get another top babyface over, even though he wants to go after the title now, and he hasn't won a freaking pay-per-view match since Money in the Bank 2012.
This is where I was going to go down, because Ryback lost to Mark Henry. They teased a rematch, but again, that's where the Rock thing comes in. They have to change everything. So now Ryback, who's... the way that I do this, fix this, is Mark Henry versus Ryback in a more contendership. At least it would make more sense than just throwing Ryback into a match that he's not really worthy of. But then again, like last year, it always finishes with John Cena, Lesnar and Cena last year, Ryback and Cena this.
Do you know what? It wasn't the best way to end Raw in my opinion. It wasn't like a great way of ending Raw at Lesnar, but seeing Ryback shell shock John Cena in the middle of the ring and teasing a potential match between these two down the line. Hey, I think John Cena, the only person he probably hasn't feuded with for that belt is Ryback. So that's probably the only fresh matchup they could actually make out of this with John Cena as champion. Cena versus Ryback, while I feel it should happen at a bigger pay-per-view, will probably happen at Extreme Rules, should be a damn good fucking match. I'm looking forward to it if it happens.
It could be a good match, but do I think Ryback's any near worthy of this? No.
Do I think Ryback will win? Well, we'll get onto that moment later. I'm just going to save you the moment right now. But Ryback shell-shocked John Cena in the middle of the ring, and they're actually capitalizing on these John Cena boos to try and get Ryback over. Thank you very much, WWE. What were your overall thoughts on Raw tonight, NJ?
I'd say, again, yes, it's the crowd that filled the whole show. The big names that were at WrestleMania weren't here apart from Taker. I still think they were missing, but overall, we got stuff that was entertaining to watch.
I don't think there's any other way of describing this show other than fan-fucking-tastic. I mean, you want a show that's fun. You had an unpredictable crowd. You didn't know what they were going to do. And to be honest, at the end of the day, the whole point of wrestling and entertainment is to try and get crowds to react. And that is what they did tonight, which is why this edition of Raw, which on the surface may not have been great, but due to the fact the crowd were reacting to all this, it just gave it a different, unique feeling, which you don't get from that many Raws, and you really must savour. Fantastic show tonight, that's all I'm going to say. Leave your thoughts in the comments section down below, and put your thoughts on the Tea Time guys, and what you think of them. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to remember those two now.
It is a big question, but people who have been a long-term subscriber to the British Fist, you remember those guys. Please let us know what your thoughts on. Do you support them? Do you miss them? Are you on Terminator NJ's side? But for Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, the British Fist, ka-ching, and what's up and goodbye.